Sorry, not sorry.
I swear you do it on purpose now, just for the bit. I love it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's right up there with how many ways can you spell Larry's card.
Thank you for having me back. We are going to shift tones here. For my historic piece, I was inspired by Sir Ian McKellen's. In a clip in the Arcane archives came to me of this piece being performed live, and it was captivating for many, many reasons. The selection I have before you today is The Stranger's Case from Act 2, Scene 4 of Sir Thomas More. It was written by Anthony Munday in 1591 through 1593 with the help of several other authors, and this particular page and passage in both the linguistic choices and writing hand is attributed to William Shakespeare. The titular character, Thomas More, is a sharif at the time in London, and there have been riots going on between the London apprentices and the strangers, the foreign workers who come to do business in London. This particular event takes place in the midst of this riot. Officials from the city come out to try to quell the crowd, and they will not hear any of them save for Sir Thomas More for his reputation. Successfully quelling the riot, More goes on to become very successful in the court of Henry VIII. And at the time, the play does not mention much in the historical sense of the motivations, but eventually Henry and More separate. And in this rift of what was once respect and ambition, More is arrested for high treason and is eventually executed, which ends the play. The historical context for this would be that Henry VIII had his eyes on Anne Boleyn, and naturally was about to cause a schism that would form a whole new sect of the church. And More cleaved first to his God and second to his king. Shocking news, we know. More said repeatedly through interrogations and through weakening in prison and the removal of his books, the most egregious of these things, that he was loyal to the throne, but he simply could not swear to the act of succession, and there was a second one that also starts with an S, that essentially would say that you would swear fealty to the king and to his immediate family, and you could never disparage them in any way, shape, or form. Thomas declined 4 times, and they told him, we are going to execute you rather horribly. The details are fascinating if you want to research it. But in light of his years of service, they decided to offer him execution by beheading. You will see in my documentation that a letter More wrote to his daughter is included from his time of imprisonment in my documentation. It's the smaller image there. And in my bibliography are links to where I found those. So this is The Stranger's Case. I'm going to need some assistance. And my tone will differ vastly from More's, because More in the play almost has this saintly vibe, as he's later canonized by the church in 1935. My approach is not going to be saintly. My approach is going to reflect more personal attributes. So I need some volunteers. If you so feel inspired, I need you to shout for me. The strangers should be removed. Can you do that?
The strangers should be removed!
Louder!
The strangers should be removed!
People hate you!
The strangers should be removed!
And grant them removed! And grant that this, your noise, had chipped down all the majesty of England. Imagine that you see wretched strangers, their babies at their backs, their poor little sheep, plodding to ports and coasts for transportation. And you sit as kings in your authority, in your desires. Authority quite silent, by your roll. You and rough with your opinion flow. What did you got? I tell you, you had taught how insolence and strong hand should prevail, how order should be quelled, and by this pattern not one of you should live an aged man. For other ruffians, their fancies were wrong. The self-same hands of reason, of right, and sharp on good. And men like ravenous fishes feed on one another. Say now the king, is he as clement, is he offender born, should so much come too short of your great trespass as but to banish you, whither was you grown? What country, by the nature of your error, should give you harbor? Throw you to France or Flanders, to any German province, to Spain or Portugal, nay, anywhere that not adheres to England. Why, you must needs be strangers. What would you think to find a nation of such barbarous temper that breaking out in hideous violence would not afford you an abode on the earth? Whet their detested knives against your throats, spurn you like dogs, and like as if that God owed us, nor made not you, nor that the elements were not all appropriate to your comforts, but chartered unto them. What would you think to be thus used? This is the stranger's case, and this your mountainish inhumanity. Huzzah!